Welcome into a brand new episode of the Gimme the Hot Sauce podcast. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see that we're all in different locations. Stacey coming to us from beautiful Salt Lake City, Utah, while Tim is holding down the fort in our studio in lovely Palatine. Stacey, you saw quite a ball game last night. Down 22 and amazingly came back and won that game. That was one of the better wins of the year.
Yeah, you know what? There's such a Jekyll and Hyde team, Mark. You just never know what team's going to show up. It looked like they were getting ready to, get the doors blown off, again, first game out on the West Coast trip. And that would have been very disappointing, because, Sacramento is one of the better teams in the Western Conference. So you expected them to come out and play like it was a playoff game. And I thought there was parts of the first half they did. They were down early and they came back and cut the lead. They did a good job on Sabonis. Sabonis really struggled in the first half. They kept the game close, and then all of a sudden, Sabonis gets hot in the third quarter. It's a different ball game. Sacramento has everything going its way, but the Bulls just kept playing. Coby was doing Coby things. It seems like he's gotten out of his slump now. Started in that Milwaukee game where he started to get his stroke back and his confidence back. Io really, in the first half, really kept the Bulls in the game, with the way he was playing, him and Vooch. So, but I tell you what, these late games, man, whew, Lord have mercy. Like, you guys, most of the people was in bed probably, what I mean? I joked about it. I said, hey, if you're asleep, you might want to get up. Here they come. And then sure enough, they came back and won the game, which is awesome.
Whispers, were you one of the doubters that went to bed early, or did you stay in till the bitter end?
I went to bed early, but did catch up on those highlights this morning.
Oh, wow.
I tell you, you missed a great comeback. It was fun to watch. The funny thing, Whispers, is to see an all-star caliber guard like De'Aaron Fox just crumble down the stretch. He had some terrible turnovers. The crowd in Sacramento couldn't believe what they were seeing, Stacey.
Yeah, you know what? It was kind of uncharacteristic because it was like the game was two games. It was they play flawless and they look like a team that can contend for a title in the Western Conference, or at least the very least go deep. And the second half, they looked like a team that was had not even in the playoff contention. The turnovers that they had, the shot selection. I thought that, De'Aaron Fox got rattled. I thought that, I thought Coby, I thought he was a little surprised with Coby and how Coby was playing, probably watching Coby the last week or so, seeing that he has struggled and then seeing him up close because they saw him in February. Now, you got to remember, you go back to that, I think it's February 3rd game, Mark. We were down 30 at one point. We came back and almost won that game and ran out of gas. So I think that played a big part in it yesterday for our team, for the Bulls. I think they figured hey, man, we were down 30 against this team. We can come back and win this game. We just got to finish. And I think you saw that in the second half, down 22. They went with the bigger lineup. It certain stretches in that game that kind of evened it out a little bit on the boards and stuff. And I thought the defense was probably some of the best I've seen in a while from this team. They started locking in defensively, keeping guys out the paint. That third quarter, though, you wouldn't have said that because the way Sabonis came out, I think he had 5 dunks in a row right down the middle of the lane. I'm thinking to myself, is anybody going to stop this guy? Is anybody going to get in front of him and take a charge? So, but they regained their composure in the fourth and pulled it out.
And speaking of those dunks, how about Coby's? Is that what you're saying,
that
Mark?
Was impressive, wasn't it?
Great dunk.
He had 2 dunks. And the thing with Coby that's enabled him to do that now is his ball handling. Because he had a dunk on Harrison Barnes, who's about 6'8", former North Carolina Tar Heel, brother. He crossed him over at least twice. And then on the third time, he just blew right by him. And people forget how big Coby actually is. Coby looks a lot bigger in person than you see him on TV. And he's strong. He's a very strong guard. And now you see that he has confidence that he can get in there and turn the ball over and bam on people's heads. He's starting to really get confidence attacking the rim. And whether it's an acrobatic layup or him just going strong to the rim and trying to finish, it was impressive. And, I think last night, showed that he's probably going to end up winning the most improved player.
Yeah, he did an interview with our good buddy Casey Johnson after the game. I know he did one on the air, both he and Io together, but then in the locker room, Casey talked to him for an extended time, and he really was very thoughtful in talking about how that he thinks this should be encouraging for a lot of young players to realize that if things don't go exactly the way you planned in your first and your second year, don't give up on yourself. Keep working hard, and eventually that you can have the success that you imagine you would have when you first came into the league. You know, people were talking about, you know, Coby White was a bust and they should trade him.
Oh
And he
yeah,
worked
yeah.
he worked, you know, throughout the summer on his own time to tighten up his handles, to work on the areas that were weak in his game. And now, you know, he's one of the better lead guards in the NBA. And that's really a testament to his work ethic. And that's one of the points that really came through in that interview.
Well, and this is really kind of, you know, like all sports have to understand. You know, of course, everyone wants ready-made talent. Not everybody's LeBron that comes in this league. No, not everybody's this guy, you know, that comes in their rookie year and just tears it up. There are some guys that it takes 2 or 3 years for them to mature and reach the level of play that they've expected to reach. A lot of times teams don't have the patience to wait. You know, you see it right now in the Chicago Bears with Justin Fields. They just don't have time to wait. They want the flashy, they want the ready-made product, which they think is ready-made. And when they get him here, they realize they're going to have to wait just like they had to wait with the last person here. But I give the Bulls credit, you know, especially AK and Mark, that they didn't feel pressure from the outside to move Coby, because Coby came back. People tend to forget, you know, Coby had a torn labrum when they brought in all these acquisitions of, you know, Caruso, DeMar, Lonzo Ball, you know, Vucevic. We had all these new players, and especially at the guard position. And Coby was out. He sat out the whole summer. He sat out most of training camp. He didn't come back until the middle of the season, December. So that was his first action. Now, roles have been established. You know, Billy Donovan already had his rotations. Io has started getting playing time in there too. So the guard rotation, it was hard for him to get in the mix of the guard rotation, especially considering how he played the first 2 years. Because Coby, the first 2 years, was unbelievable under Fred Hoiberg. You know, he shot the ball extremely well. You just felt like, okay, we got another, you know, Jamal Crawford or, you know, Ben Gordon type of player that can come in, maybe come off the bench, get you 17 to 20 points easily. He gets hurt, doesn't know his role in this new team. Where am I playing? Am I a point guard? Am I two guard? Lonzo's the point guard, so that's solid. Zach's the two guard. I'm not gonna get no minutes there. You know, small forward. I'm not a small forward, so there's really not a lot of playing time. So I think a lot of people soured on Coby, and he struggled with his shot, which was natural. And a lot of people want to trade him, you know, and so that just shows you can't give up on young talent, Mark. You got to let it nurture, you know, especially when you see that player in your building every single day. When you see that player in your building every single day, and you see how hard he works and that he really, really loves to play, and he's doing all the necessary things to become a better player, it's hard for you to move on from that player. But if a guy comes in, he's the last one to get to practice, he's the first one to leave, the guy doesn't spend any time watching film or working with the coaches, those are the kind of guys that you don't want on your team. Those are the kind of guys you want to move from.
Yeah, it's really a similar story with Io DeSumo. He was very effective as a rookie because of injuries. He was getting starter minutes, and then he took a little bit of a step back with his shooting in year 2. And people who wanted, you know, were saying, well, he's really not that good. He's just a role player. Now we've seen he looks like the guy that we saw at Illinois, a guy that can put up 20 points a night and create his own shot. The Bulls now have 2 young guards who are making very team-friendly salaries. It's probably a good problem to have, but you know, when Zach comes back next year, you still got Caruso and Javon Carter, and there's also that long shot chance that Lonzo Ball comes back. The Bulls are going to have one of the deepest backcourts, which is a good thing, but it's also going to be tough for Billy when it comes to playing time.
Well, I mean, you know, that's a good problem to have. You know, right now you're with all the injuries, you're mixing and matching. You got Caruso playing power forward, you know, so it's tough right now, but it's a good thing to have, especially if the Bulls are going to be blessed to get Lonzo Ball back healthy, and you know he's going to be probably a game to game type of deal. He probably won't play back to backs if he's healthy. He'll be on a minute restriction. You got Zach. You know, you don't know what the situation with Zach's going to be. Is he going to be here? Are they going to move him in the summer and, you know, for draft picks? We don't know. Hopefully he's here. But you'll basically have that team that the Bulls had when they were the best team in the NBA before all the injuries. So I know fans are impatient, and they should be. You know, they want to see this team win. They want to see that this team is a lot better than they played. Okay, let's just be honest. When Zach was there and he was healthy, this team is a lot better than their record. Okay, they've proven they can beat teams right now when they lock in and focus. The key for them is to lock in and focus. You know, don't come out messing around. Oh, we're playing Detroit tonight, so let's take the night off. They can't beat us. Well, they've beaten you 2 times out of 3 times this year. Okay. You come out and you focus against New Orleans, who's a playoff team, beat them. You focus against Cleveland, a playoff team, you beat them. You have to have the same focus every single night. And with the games going down, how many games left? Like 20, 21? 21 games left. So for these 21 games, you have to approach these games, Mark, like it's a playoff game. Every single night, you've got to come in with the focus of, we can't get down double digits. We can't turn the ball over. There is no margin of error for this team. You got to come out and play about as close to flawless every single night as you can. And if they can do that, you know, they may be looking at themselves moving up and maybe not have to be in the playoff game if they finish strong. But right now they're in the playing game solid. But I wouldn't want to be content with that if I was them. I'd be trying to shoot for higher goals and higher aspirations.
You mentioned the fans. Whispers, you know, I ran into at the Windy City game on Friday night. Guy calls out to me from the 100 section there, and first of all, you're always kind of nervous when somebody's calling your name, like what do they want?
Well, especially with how many are after you.
It was our guy Jessie.
Really?
Yeah. So he was reflecting back on his appearance on the Gimme the Hot Sauce podcast, looking for a return engagement. I said, well, you know, we'll call you. So, you know, hang in there.
Well, that's good. He's so disgruntled with the Bulls, he's going to the. That's great.
Yeah, he went to the Windy City game.
Yeah, he found a new venue. That's good.
Hey, Tim, I was at the game the other day. Guess who asked about you?
Oh, no. Oh, wait. I know who it is. Is she from Detroit?
No. Okay.
No,
not
well, hey, I was just hoping.
No, I was it was after the game, so they asked about you.
I have no idea.
You don't want to guess?
Well, that was my guess.
Well, let me tell you who it was. It was nobody. Nobody asked.
Oh, wow.
Oh, no.
Wow. Boy. Wow. Boy, I sure do miss you.
Set you up for that one, Whispers. He got you on that one.
Miss you. Get back soon.
Woo!
Yeah, it's not like I'm already lonely sitting here.
Hey, listen, buddy,
oh, man.
You can't be no lonely, and I'm in Utah right now. I'm looking at the snow on the mountaintops. Let me tell you something. America, we had a rough fight leaving Chicago. It was windy when we left, and the plane was up there shaking. I thought we was flying on a school bus. I was like, oh Lord, we're going down. Oh Lord. So then last night we're flying into Salt Lake City, and after the game, and I'm asleep. You know, because I don't like to be up there in turbulence. I got to go to sleep. So I'm going to sleep, and we bounced in on descending down to the runway. We bounced we hit the ground so hard. Like everybody got up and was like, oh, Mark, dude. Oh, baby.
Oh, man.
Did a door pop off?
Hey, listen. I thought it was Buddy Holly, baby. I thought it was the Buddy Holly story. I thought they might have my picture on a stone somewhere. Stacey King. He was a great guy. It's like, it was scary, dude. I don't mind flying. I've had some really scary flights in my days. I've been on planes, Mark, where we've hit some turbulence and all the masks come down at the same time.
Yeah.
I've been on a plane when I was flying back from Detroit. We had to fly down so low because we couldn't get up in the air. We had to fly so low that you could see the stop signs and the names of the stop signs from. That's how low we were. Yeah. Mark. And a couple of times when the Bulls had a preseason game in Minnesota. We're flying home. I don't know if I told you this, but we're flying on the Maravich plane, Mark Cuban's plane. So he's got the turbines. He's got 2 on each side. Big plane, computer. They're talking about, this is a great plane. It's got all the computers on it, da-da-da-da. And it was a great plane, beautiful plane. So we get on the plane. We're starting to take off and go back to Chicago. We're up in the air. We're not up in the air maybe 10 minutes, and one of the turbines blows. Boom! And a big flame comes through. So we thought we hit a bird. So everybody's like, oh, my God, did you see that flame? And everybody's like, we had Nate Robinson on the team. Nate Robinson, it was right by his window. So he gets up and runs to another seat because he's like, oh, he thought he was going to burn up. So then the captain comes on, oh, don't worry about it. Everything's good. Don't worry about it. We just blew turbine, but we're good. Okay, we got 3 left. Okay. As soon as he says that, Mark, on the other side, one blows. Boom. So now we're down to 2. Okay. So then he comes back on. All right, no need to panic. We can fly. We can fly to Chicago on 1 turbine if we have to. This plane can get to where it needs to go. Da da da. Swear to God, Mark, a 3rd one blew.
Oh my God!
Fire, smoke, and then John Paxson says, hey, he tells the captain, turn this plane around and get us back to Minnesota. So we turned back around and we had to stay the night in Minnesota. Come to find out, like, if that last turbine would have blown, it could have been ugly. It could have been ugly.
Yeah, you're falling from the sky at that point.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no power.
That's why I travel with a parachute, because if I need to jump out, I'm just gonna put it on and I'm just gonna jump out. I'm just gonna jump out. That's why I travel. People always want to know why my bag is so big. Yeah, okay. I got a parachute in my bag just in case.
Yeah, the glamorous life of an NBA team on the road. You get into the hotel about 3 or 4 in the morning, and then you're supposed to get some sleep.
No, I couldn't. I was so so awake yesterday after that bounce in. I didn't go to sleep till like 5 o'clock this morning. Yeah, I was still like in shock about that, because we hit that ground so hard. I was like, wow. I mean, Russ, our director, right?
Yeah.
So Russ sits in front of me, and he sleep like this. It hit so hard that he punched himself. He said, this how he was sleeping like this, and then that thing, boom, he's like, and hit him in the face. That's how hard it was.
He thought he was having a nightmare about Mike Tyson. He hit himself in the face.
Man. Oh, dude, it was terrible, dude. So we made it. We're safe. We're safe here in Utah right now.
What would that sound like if Mike Tyson was punching Russ?
Oh, Jesus, Mark.
Hey, D, cue the Phil Collins.
Oh, no.
Hey.
See, we're not around.
Hey,
See, this is what happened.
Yeah. Hey, at least you weren't that guy sitting next to the door that fell off on the Alaska Airlines and sucked your shirt off.
Oh, did the guy go out the door?
No, but it literally sucked his shirt right off. So you said you had to
That's
land.
better than the whole body going off.
Yeah.
Because you know what? Like, when they tell you, I mean, man, that kind of stuff is scary. Like, you better definitely, because we fly on a team plane. So we don't have the restrictions that you have when you fly commercial. Like, we don't have to turn off our radios and, our computers. We can leave them on, and, we can get up and walk around and go to the bathroom, even when the plane is, going up in the air. So we have no, and Mark, you've been on the plane. People do what they want to, So if one of them doors opened up, woo, boy, there'd be a lot of people sucked out on our plane. They might be trying to grab me, baby. I'm like trying to pull me with them, baby. I had to hit them with the Heisman post. Get off! You should have your seatbelt on. You're out here walking around in the hall, walking around in the the aisle. Man, you better sit your butt down.
Yeah, guys pay no mind to any kind of airline regulations. They're going to the bathroom, doing whatever they want. It's cool. It's a great atmosphere, but yeah, safety not exactly a high priority in those situations.
Nah, we get the food, we get drinks. It's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool environment when we get on there. Because we don't have to be, we don't have to sit in the terminals and wait. And I think the only thing is, like, we have to go through security sometimes on the outside, like. Every so often they'll pull a person randomly and then basically make you go through like the security thing. They got me last night. I was like, oh, come on, man. Come on. This is, they get out of me all the time. They get out of me like he's a terrorist. Every single time we get on there, we need you to go over here, sir. We need you to go to double security. But they got me last night. I said, oh, come on, man. Come on, 18 years, bro. Come on now. I think I've been caught 3 times. They made me do it. The last night was one of them. And it was cold, too. It was cul-de-sac because they got snow up in Tahoe.
Yeah.
So they had some serious avalanches up in Tahoe. So we were 20, maybe 25 minutes away from all that. So we were getting a lot of the cold front in from Tahoe last night, and then LA is raining. So the weather's kind of bad right now. That global warming is real, bro.
Oh, no question about it. We're experiencing it here back in Chicago with the crazy temperatures. Yeah, I wanted to ask you one other story off the court before we move on to some football talk. Did you see the story, Stacey, yesterday that Anthony Edwards missed the tip-off, the Timberwolves game? He said he lost track of time. Now, I'm assuming nature was calling and he couldn't quite finish his business, but you got any stories about a guy missing tip-off or maybe being stuck in a stall too long than he should be?
Let me just say this. When I heard about that yesterday, it reminded me so much of J.R. Ryder. J.R. Ryder was like that. J.R. Ryder would J.R. Ryder, the game is at 7:30. J.R. Ryder would walk into the locker room at 7:15 and look at us like we were early. What are y'all doing here so early? Well, we got a game at 7:30. We got to get on the floor in 10 minutes. What are you doing? And then he would come out. There'd be times where, we'd be on the plane, to take off. If they said, okay, the plane's leaving at 3:00, we'd be sitting on the runway for an hour and a half waiting for him to come, So, yeah, I've seen that. So when he did that, when Anthony Edwards did that, the first thing I thought was, oh, Minnesota. Oh, this has been going on since the turn of time. Plus, it was really a shock for him because he's a kid that seems like he gets it. It's not something that he would normally do. So we don't know what was the reason why he was late, but you can't have that when you're a guy that's going to be the face of the franchise and you're going to be the face of the NBA in a few years. This is one of the guys that's going to be the transitional superstar when LeBron and all these other guys, Steph Curry and all these guys leave the league. This is going to be the face of the franchise. It's going to be the face of the NBA, Luka, and these younger stars. So these guys have to understand, man, they live by a different set of rules than the average, the 10th and 11th man. You know what I'm saying? When you're the face of a franchise and you're the number one guy and the NBA is touting you as being that next generation, man, you have to walk the straight and narrow, man. You got to be responsible. You got to be accountable, dependable. You can't have those things on your resume, man. You just can't. I mean, you never see Kobe doing that. You never see Michael Jordan doing that. You never see, LeBron doing it. You never see any of these legit superstar players do that. But, these younger kids, man, they're going to have to understand, man, when you get to that level, that certain level that you want to be at LeBron James level, you want to be at a Kobe Bryant level, there's something about be at that level.
So Stacey went from the penthouse playing with Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen and Phil Jackson, staying at the best hotels, being mobbed by fans everywhere, to trying to get J.R. Ryder to show up for work. You went from the penthouse to the outhouse.
Mark, let me tell you something, man. It was like going to leaving from the Four Seasons and going to the Motel 6 with yellow tape around the outside where it was a murder scene. That's what it was like, Mark. I always tell these younger kids, listen, the grass is not always greener on the other side. When I was playing with the Bulls, I wanted my role to be bigger. I won championships. I wanted my role to be bigger. I wanted to be a starter in this league. I wanted to see what I could actually do with starters minutes. And that was a good thing. That's why I went to Minnesota. That was a good thing for me. I saw that. I saw what I could do. I saw that I still had it, that I had the ability to put up big numbers, and I enjoyed that. But the thing I didn't enjoy was losing every game. That was the worst feeling. Now, if I would have been had all these points and we'd have won and my team would have been winning, I'd have been in hog heaven. But we were losing. And I'd hear people, I'd be playing like the Rockets. You're playing these teams, you'd hear Clyde Drexler talking about, oh, Black Jesus ain't with you no more. You by yourself. You hear all these little snide comments. What does it feel like? You ain't got that black cat with you, that kind of stuff, and it would sting a little bit. But at the same time, man, I tell these younger players, hey, listen, when you're in a good situation, and you may not like your role, you may not like the role that you're in, it's okay. You can, we just talked about Kobe. You just got to keep working and keep plugging away. And then when you get your opportunity, it comes. And so if I had to do that all over again, I probably wouldn't have went to Minnesota. I probably just stayed in Chicago and won 6 championships.
Hey, one other story before we go to football. Injuries, Stacey, are really right now. So Scotty Barnes, Russell Westbrook, long-term injuries. And it looked like Jalen Brunson might have popped his knee the other day, but he got lucky. It's just a knee bruise. He might even play their next game, but it looked for a while like he blew out his ACL. I mean, the wear and tear on these athletes' bodies is crazy, and you're seeing a lot of guys breaking down as we hit the stretch run before the playoffs, and that ultimately could decide seeding and who wins the title down the road.
Well, you know what? I'm still not a big fan of that. Oh, they're playing too many games stuff. I think if they want to start looking at what is the reason for these breakdowns or whatever, they need to start looking at what they're doing in the summertime. You have to let your body heal. You go through a long 82 game season. Some guys are going through 110, 112 season, counting preseason and playoffs. You've got to let your body heal. Getting in the gym, playing basketball, playing full court, playing in the Drew League or playing in these summer league tournaments and playing pickup games all the time. It's just like your body's a car. When you get your car off the off the showroom floor, it loses value as soon as you jump in and drive it off. And the more miles you put on it, and if you don't maintain it and make sure that you're changing oil, changing tires, the maintenance on that car, your car is gonna break down a lot sooner than ever. So when you're playing basketball year round and not giving your body a break, you're just wearing the tread off tires. Okay, you're just wearing the tread off the tires. You're putting adding extra years possibly on your career by playing in the summertime. It's okay to set a goal and say, I'm gonna take the first 2 months of summer off. I'm not gonna do anything but probably lift weights, do yoga, go on vacation. Just get away from the game a little bit. Get away from the game. Enjoy being with my family. But come July, middle of July after the 4th, that's when I'm going to start re-gearing myself up. That's the one thing that we always did with the Bulls is that, Phil would always tell us because, we were going from October to June, all the time. So he'd always tell us, when the season's over in June, I don't want you to pick up a ball. I don't want you to do any court work until, probably early September. And then come into camp, probably 50, 60% in shape, and we'll work our way up through training camp. And that's what we always did. If you go back and look at those Bulls teams during those championship years, both of them, we had the least amount of games missed. And, also too, Mark, I said this on the broadcast the other night, how you get load management with your players is when you blow a team out. Okay, Milwaukee the other night, they're blowing the Bulls out, okay? And Doc Rivers leaves his starters in there to the last 2 minutes of the game, which is unnecessary, okay? Unnecessary. Now you got Giannis with Achilles strain right now. That was a game, you're up 30, you pull Giannis out. You got the game clearly in hand. You're beating the Bulls. If the Bulls make a comeback, you bring them back. But you leave Damian Lillard out there. These guys have an opportunity to get hurt. If you want load management, if I'm up 30, I'm sitting my guys out the last 12, 13 minutes of the game because I feel like my second team is good enough to win the game for me, or at least finish the game. We might not win by 30, or we might win by 12 or 14. But my starters got valuable rest in that game. They got, 15 to 18 minutes rest. They got the ice up on the bench. And then the next day they get treatment, they get massages or whatever, therapeutic day, and then they're ready to go to the next game. That's how load management was with winning teams back in the 90s. You didn't sit guys out. And, now unless you're Bill Cartwright, guy who's 36, 37 years old, Phil would say, hey, I want you to go to Disney World. Take your family to Disney World for 10 days, and we'll see you, see you when you get back. And that would be great for guys like myself, Scott Williams, and Will Perdue, because we would get those minutes. We would get that surplus of minutes from Bill, and Bill would get to rest, and he'd get to come back fresh and be ready to go by the time we got for the playoffs. So, yeah, these injuries can be prevented. Tibbs is playing Brunson almost 40 minutes a night. I mean, these guys playing these excess minutes when they don't have to. There's nights when you have to, Mark. It's a nip and tuck game. I got to play him. I got to play him the full ride because I don't trust the guys behind him. But when you got games where you're leading by double digits and you got a chance to rest your guy, pull him out the game. That's how they get hurt.
Yeah, the one exception for the Bulls has been DeMar DeRozan. In his 15th season, he leads the league in minutes played. And his game last night, he got off to a slow start. He didn't seem like he was that into the game, didn't take many shots. He winds up scoring 33 points, and he was so clutch in that fourth quarter.
He had one shot. He had one shot in the first half, and Coby, I think, had one shot in the first quarter, and then he got himself going a little bit in the second quarter. But DeMar had one shot in the first quarter. And the one thing you don't worry about DeMar, even though he's playing these minutes, he takes care of himself. Like, he really takes care of himself. You know, he gets all the treatments, the massages, the therapeutic, the stretching. You know, we got a yoga guy that travels with us. The guys go see him. That, you know, they're implementing yoga. You know, he takes care of his body. He's also a guy, Mark, that in his 15-year career, he plays 70+ games a year. Okay. He's very durable. And so I think, you know, with him, he wants to be out there. He doesn't look at it being, I'm playing too many minutes, but I also think he realizes that we're shorthanded. You know, Patrick Williams not being out there, you know, you don't got Zach, you know, you're missing Torrey Craig. There's some guys out there that could take some minutes from him and give him some rest, but he realizes that we don't have that luxury now. So he's got to play as many minutes as possible. I thought in the first half, with him only taking one shot, I thought he was letting these other guys cook. I thought Io was playing well, Vooch was playing well, and I think he was just going with the flow. Like, hey, these guys got it going. I think he had 5 assists in the first half. I think he ended up with like 4 or 5 assists, but he wasn't searching for shots. I mean, he was efficient. He was efficient last night. I think he was 10 of 12 from the field, I think, if I'm not mistaken. He was very efficient.
Yeah, I got it right here. Yeah, he was 10 of 12 from the field.
Yep. I think he went to the free throw line a lot. Coby was 14 and 19. So, you know, the one guy who struggled last night was Caruso. But the one thing, you don't worry about Caruso going 1 for 10. It doesn't concern me about him going 1 for 10 because Caruso does so many things that contribute to winning plays on the basketball floor. Is rebounding, defense. He has to guard the toughest guy. He was the guy that was really giving Fox fits at the end of the game last night. When the game was on the line, he decided I'm putting me on him, and he really frustrated De'Aaron Fox into playing not like the De'Aaron Fox that we've been seeing. So that 1 for 10 didn't really bother me with Caruso. I think he had 7 assists last night. He had 3 or 4 rebounds, and his defense is always impeccable. He's everywhere on the floor, man. And I hope the NBA looks at this and the guys who make the decision of voting for, defensive player of the year, all defensive team.
Right.
I hope that they not take the Bulls season record against this kid because he's clearly a top 5 defensive player in this league. I mean, pound for pound could be the best in the league right now, but he's a top 5 every single night. He's a top 5 defensive player. And I hope that they give him the recognition he deserves. I hope he's on first team all defense. I hope he gets recognition as defensive player of the year. I don't know if that will happen, but I do believe he'll be on the first team all defense, though.
Well, Stacey's on the road for a week. He's got his computer always at the ready. So if you want to spar with somebody, Stacey's been at it again with Justin Fields and the whole Bears thing. We're going to talk about that next. But first, Tim, tell the folks about our good friend Jeff Vukovic.
All righty. Hey,
he's over there asleep.
Where is
he's
it?
Asleep.
No, I got
the one job he had.
No, we don't. There's got paperwork here, but it's not that. We can talk about some matcha.
You got one. Oh my God, we got one job, man. Hey,
I do.
Hey, listen.
Is that to put this out?
Here it is. When it comes to being treated with royalty insurance for your auto, home, or business, make sure you contact nationwide agent Jeff Vukovic. You can reach him at jeffvuk.com, 847-825-4783, and he's got the coolest jingle. Tim, go ahead.
Not a chance.
No, you got to sing, man. You lost the copy.
I read it.
You got to do something.
You got to do something.
All right. It's going to be horrible.
All right, go ahead.
Nationwide is on your side. Woo! How's that?
That was horrible.
Yeah, I know it was. just absolutely horrendous.
That just put like a wet blanket on the show right there. That's
Jeff,
I apologize.
Better cool off the pipes.
Jeff, that won't happen again. Jeff's the best in the business.
Sorry, Jeff. Don't cancel the contract. Don't cancel the contract. Sorry.
At jeffbook.com. Hey, we're going to talk Stacey against the world, the Bears Nation, next on Give Me the Hot Sauce. Time to talk a little football. The Bears continue to be the talk of the National Football League. The Combine has wrapped up in Indianapolis, and all the executives and reporters speculating what the Bears are going to do. And Stacey tried to get away, but those people keep hounding you, Stacey. They won't let it alone.
Listen, I like sparring with Bears fans. At the end of the day, listen, we all want the same thing. We want the Bears to win. Okay. At the end of the day, okay, I'm not a troll. I'm not trolling nobody. I'm just speaking facts. I run into a lot of trolls, but I'm not a troll. I speak facts. I still think that, Justin Fields could be the guy if they want him to be the guy. I think that the rookie contract thing, I think that plays an important role in it. Because you can get Caleb Williams cheaper. But I just think you're going to be in the same situation in 3 years with Caleb Williams. I don't know if he can. I'm still not a believer, Mark, that he can play in Chicago cold. I'm not a believer that. I believe his size is going to hinder him at this level. As we saw with Bryce Young, being smaller, having a hard time finding passing windows. I just think Justin Fields, you got a quarterback that's already ready. It's already a leader in your franchise. Because what at the end game, Mark, you want a quarterback who's a leader. You want a guy that's respected in the locker room that guys will follow. That's the whole ultimate thing. And Justin Fields is that guy. He's a guy that's respected by his peers. He's respected by his teammates. They will run through a wall for this kid. How about just get his kid, trade down, get all these pieces that you need, go get you Marvin Harrison III, put him on the outside with DJ Moore, grab another free agent to put in the slot position where Mooney is, and you got a great tight end. Now you got weapons. Your running game really doesn't need to upgrade, but if you could possibly upgrade that, like a Saquon Barkley who's not going to be franchise tag, I don't think in New York. There's a guy like that out there. Get you an offensive tackle, a defensive end, and you're right in the mix, man. You're right. You got a chance to win the division because there's so much uncertainty in the division other than Detroit. Detroit right now is the class act. And who would have thought we'd been saying this, 3 years ago that Detroit would be the mainstay in the division. You'd always think it would be the Packers. And this is a chance for the Bears to really close the gap and possibly be a threat to win their division. And that's what you want to do. You want to beat the Packers. You want to beat the Lions. You want to beat these teams and then have a chance to play deep into the playoffs. And you're only a few pieces away. You got a really great defense. You're going to put the franchise tag on Johnson, the cornerback. So you're going to be bringing him back. You get you a defensive end. Man, you're right back in there, Mark. You got a chance to do some really special things for the next few years.
Well, right now, Ryan Poles is playing a game of high-stakes poker because the whole league is aware of what his choices are. And I think that Ryan, in trying to be more candid with the media last week in Indy, I think he kind of hand a little bit where he said that we want to do right by Justin. We don't want him living in the gray. And he kind of set the parameters like, well, we're going to try to trade him before the new league year starts on March 13th. And I think what he's done now is he's undercut his trade value. These teams aren't offering anything for Justin, and they may have to hold on to him well into free agency where, other teams are going to pursue Russell Wilson or Kirk Cousins or other free agents on the market. And I think Poles could put himself in a bad situation with being a little bit too upfront with saying that we want to do right by Justin.
Well, and here's my also take on it. Maybe Poles is using this as a smokescreen. Maybe he's moving Justin Fields to make it look like to the outsiders who want Caleb Williams to have to step up and offer more than what they're possibly offered before. You know what I'm saying? Because they're like, okay, they're going to trade Justin Fields. That means they're going to take Caleb Williams. Okay, guys, they're serious about taking Caleb Williams as they're moving Justin Fields. They're doing all this feelers on who wants Justin Fields. So we got to get a package that's going to wow them so we can draft Caleb Williams. So the Commanders to move up or New England or whoever to try to put a package up, basically playing poker. You're losing one hand. You're playing two games of poker. You're losing one hand over here with Justin Fields because you put it out there. You're trying to move it very quickly. Okay. But the real hand you're playing, the game you're really playing in is the Caleb Williams and the number one pick. you're trying to maybe possibly get as much assets as possible to have a team come up and do like Ditka did for Ricky Williams when they traded all those assets for him, or like when Minnesota traded, all those assets to get Herschel Walker and gave Dallas a Super Bowl team, basically. That's maybe what he's trying to do. Who knows? You don't ever know.
Well, that's a possibility, but I think that right now that they're pretty far down the road with the Caleb Williams thing. They've been trying to get him to visit Hallis Hall really quickly so they get the medicals done and confirm that he's their guy. And then they'll go ahead and trade Justin. I think that this thing could all happen pretty quickly unless no team's willing to offer anything reasonable for Justin Fields. You don't want to give Justin Fields away for a fifth-round draft pick. That'd be terrible.
Well, that's what's going to happen because Kirk Cousins is getting ready to sign possibly with Atlanta. Okay. Russell Wilson is still regardless of what season he had last year in Denver, is still a Super Bowl winning quarterback. A guy who's been to the Super Bowl twice, won one. He's still a big arm. So there's going to be takers for him. The Raiders, who was in the Russell Wilson trade, he was one of the request. The Raiders were one of the places he requested to go when he was trying to leave Seattle, but they wouldn't trade him there. So now he has an opportunity to go back there and play there. And they probably want a veteran quarterback too. You hear Justin Fields' name. Now, the one team that was the player up until I just read the other day was Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh had offered a second-round pick. And you don't know how much this is true or not, but supposedly they offered a second-rounder for Justin Fields, and now they pulled that offer off the table because basically Pittsburgh feels like they are bidding against themselves. So why would we offer a second-round pick when we're the only ones bidding for the kid? So let's pull it off, and now it's like, hey, we'll offer a fifth-round pick. So, now Justin Fields has lost value because all these places are about to dry up now. All the places where you could have traded them are going to dry up. So now what do you do if you're the Bears? You give them away for a fifth-round pick? No, you're probably going to have to hold on to them now.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. We still have about 7 weeks to go before the NFL draft, and the Bears are going to be in the crosshairs. Free agency starts next week. I believe you can start signing players on Wednesday. So we'll see what players come off the board and how that might change teams' needs heading into the draft. We're going to take another break here. Before we do, Timmy, you got the hot sauce read? You got that committed to memory?
No, because we were.
Oh my God!
So now we have matcha flavored.
You can't sell the hot sauce.
I got.
Wait. We got matcha flavored hot. Wait, that's the wrong company. Hold on a second.
No, we got it. It's over.
It's good for your memory. Wait, no, that's not true.
Tim, it's over. I'm reading the read. You're terrible. Are you looking to score for the hottest sauce in the game? Well, you're in luck. We got all the sauce your kitchen needs and more. From Chicago Fire 1871 to the hottest of the bunch to our king's favorite, St. Pat's Verde. Gimme the Hot Sauce has got you covered. Stop by GimmeTheHotSauce.com and use the code. Wait a minute, is this the right code? Are we doing King 21 or Walk of Flame?
King 21. King 21 works.
Okay, we're using the code. Sorry, America. We're using code King21 to get 21% off your first order. So make sure you get on there and get your hot sauce because it's starting to get warm and the grills are going to be coming out. And that King's Q is perfect for barbecue, baby.
And we can let them all in on a secret. If you still use Walk-in Fire or Walk-in Q with the King 21, you'll still get the free bottle.
Oh,
there you go.
Yeah.
There you go. All right. I like it.
Some tips on what you might want to watch on your streaming services. Maybe talk a little college football. And baseball is not too far away. So we're going to roll out with a lot more on Gimme the Hot Sauce. We're back on Gimme the Hot Sauce. I don't know if you guys saw this, that the college football is potentially already talking about expanding the playoff to 14 teams. We haven't even had the 12-team playoff yet. I mean, the greed of these big conferences, Stacey, especially the Big 12 and the SEC, they want to have automatic buys. They want to control everything and push everybody else out.
Well, as you said, Marcus, the greed. This is college football now is basically, with the NIL, is basically now, professional sports, at a lower level. These kids are making so much money now, the NIL, it makes you not even want to go to the pro level. I was thinking about the girl, Caitlin
Clark,
the girl from Iowa.
She's going to have to take a huge pay cut.
Yeah, she can wait. She can stay one more year and capitalize on the NIL and make huge money. She probably could make like $5-6 million just staying in school one more year and pocketing that money and saving that money, because when she gets to the WNBA, she's not gonna make that kind of money. It'll probably take her 10 years to make $6 million. So if I was her parents, if I was her advisor, I would tell her to stay in school, capitalize, get that $5-6 million, go back and keep records, they'll never be broken, and possibly play for a championship. But conference is not the same, man. It's you're gonna miss all these conference battles, and football's football, basketball's basketball, but still, there's so many rivalries that's gonna be thrown by the wayside now that you're not even gonna see anymore. And it's a shame, because that's what carried college sports, was the rivalry for hundreds of years. The rivalries of Notre Dame, Michigan, Oklahoma, Texas, and so on, UCLA and USC, all these big time games that have been rivalries for hundreds of years. You won't hardly see them anymore because of the realignment in conferences, and teams going to different places. You got a Pac-12 teams in the Big 12. I'm like, oh, I saw something the other day. I'm like, hey man, it's a conference game? Like where, what, who? So it's sad too, because the fans get robbed by it, but at the same time, these presidents, man, who probably never played sports, is doing it for all the money.
Fox is loving this whole Caitlin Clark phenomenon. She's selling out arenas all around the Midwest. And I saw where her game against Ohio State outdrew the 2 NBA games that afternoon, including a Celtics game. So, I mean, people have really gotten behind watching Caitlin Clark do her thing.
You know what? She can play. I mean, she doesn't play. She plays the game at a different level. Like, she's very fluid. She's got range, unlimited range. I mean, she can shoot Steph Curry range. I would like to see her in the 3-point contest. They should have brought her to the NBA 3-point contest. And instead of these guys going up against Steph Curry, put them in the actual 3-point contest. Put them in there with the guys. You know what?
Right.
Because Ionesco would have easily been in the finals if she'd have been in there with the regular guys. I mean, I think she had 26 or something.
Mm-hmm.
That would have put her in the finals.
Yeah.
And Caitlin Clark can do the same.
Be in it next year. She'll be in it next year.
Oh,
sure.
Yeah. I mean, because she's a draw. Whenever college basketball, women's college basketball is relevant and they're selling out, that tells you something. It tells you that girl has star power. And it's not even her team. I think her team's ranked 3rd in the nation. I don't know if they're good enough to win the national championship, because I don't think anybody's going to beat South Carolina. And, that's the crazy thing. Caitlin Clark's getting a lot of attention to the scoring, all this, but South Carolina, what they're doing and what Don Staley's doing for that program is undefeated again and going unnoticed, and no one's talking about that. They just keep doing their business. So it'll be interesting to see when the tournament comes, if those teams match up.
One thing I didn't like about the whole Caitlin Clark phenomenon was, they celebrated the fact that she passed Kelsey Plum for the all-time NCAA record, and then she passed a woman who was underneath a different jurisdiction, and then Sunday she passed Pistol Pete Maravich. Pistol Pete played one last year without the 3-point line.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of apples and oranges there.
Well, and there's another lady that scored 4,000 points that didn't get recognized, right. and they played with men's basketball. So imagine if that I don't remember her name. I just read about it the other day because she just Lynette Woodard, who played at Kansas, had a high scoring record too, and she passed her. But those girls didn't get recognized for for some kind of NCAA rule. They didn't get recognized when they were playing initially. And they just started recognizing the girls, I think like 1980 something. They started recognizing women and giving records to them. So, but there's a girl out there. I don't have her name right off the top of my head, because I just read it the other day on ESPN. But she's got 4,000 points, and she's really the all-time lead scorer.
Yeah, it was a different governing body. I think it was the AIAW, and they're only looking at NCAA totals. So, like I said, it's been, she's a fantastic player, but this obsession with these arbitrary records has gotten a little bit out of hand right now.
Yeah, and Pistol Pete, like you said, I mean, if there would have been a 3-point line, I don't think his record would ever been broken.
Yeah, somebody looked back at all the baskets that he made in his career and said that if they had a 3-point line, he would have averaged 57 points a game.
Yeah, Yeah, he listen. I got a chance to see Pete Maravich when I was a junior in college. He came. His team used to play. We have this tournament called the All College Tournament. It's one of the oldest holiday tournaments in college basketball. And he was the MVP of that. And he came in and spoke. And it was the last time anyone, like it's the last time I saw him personally, because he passed away 2 weeks later. And he put on an exhibition of shooting and ball handling. And he was 40, maybe 44 at the time. And I'm telling you, it was the most impressive thing. I've seen all his videos as when he was a kid, but to see some of the things he was able to do at 44, like if he was playing in a men's league, he'd be banned. Seriously, he'd be banned. He would kill everybody. I mean, shoot from anywhere on the floor. The trick that he could do with a basketball was amazing. And that's one of my claim to fame, that I got a chance to meet him and sit down and talk to him, and really get to pick his brain and everything. And then he passed away like a few weeks later. Had a heart attack. And so that meeting with him, I really cherished. Man, it was a great dude. Great dude.
Yeah, when I was a kid, everybody loved Pete Maravich. The floppy hair, the floppy socks. Everybody wanted to be like Pistol Pete. And, he went into the NBA, was on some bad teams in Atlanta and New Orleans. He wrecked his knee. And then at the end of his career, he played with the Celtics. And Larry Bird and Kevin McHale kind of befriended him. And they said, man, if this guy wouldn't have got hurt, he would have been something that people would have been talking about forever.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he's kind of like Archie Manning, Archie Manning in football. Archie Manning had this amazing talent. Peyton Manning had this amazing talent, but he played on a crappy New Orleans team where he got beat up all the time, and his skills were unmatched at the time. Scrambling for his life, but he's still throwing for 4,000 plus yards. But his team was so bad, and they wasted a lot of his good years, on a bad team. And it's the same thing with Pistol Pete. Pistol Pete was on bad teams, and he wasted a lot of his years on being on a bad team. Then he gets hurt, and then he gets a chance to play with the Celtics, who were winning at the time. And I tell you what, I mean, he added something to that team. He added something to that team, and I think at the end of the day, you hear Larry Bird and Kevin McHale talk about the respect that they have for him and all the good things they had to say about him.
Hey, the Academy Awards are coming up this weekend. One of the films that I know that's nominated for a lot of awards is called The Holdovers. Paul Giamatti is in the lead role. Of course, he was the antagonist, the Bobby Axelrod in Billions. He's really good in this movie. He plays a teacher at a private school who befriends a guy that had to stay over for Christmas break. I mean, it's a pretty poignant story, the personal relationship between him and one of the guys that he got to know really well. I don't know if either of you guys saw that movie, but I would definitely recommend it if you get a chance. It probably will be honored when the Oscars come up on Sunday.
No, I haven't got a chance to see it, but I've heard nothing but good things. Plus, he's a good actor. He's just a good actor. He's very believable in the roles that he plays. So, yeah, that'd be definitely something I checked out. Some of the things that I'm watching. Oh, baby, I got to see Bob Marley, baby. One Love.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm going to tell you something, man. Bob Marley was unbelievable. Unbelievable, man. Not only was he a good artist and he made great music, he was an advocate. He was a guy that was, trying to make sure that the politicians and the government were not taking advantage of people, and almost got assassinated. There's a whole story behind that, that they wanted him killed because he had a free concert for the people. And then the Jamaican government, the guy who was running for president that a lot of people didn't like, Bob Marley never supported any of these guys, but they knew how big he was and how he could sway the election with, the people that supported him. So the president that no one liked decided to have an election at the same time he's having his concert, which in turn made everybody think that Bob Marley was supporting him, which ruffled some feathers for the other party. And then they sent like a assassination a hit squad out to kill him, and shot him and some people in his band and almost killed him. And he still healed up and went to the concert. Didn't stop him, but he didn't support the guy, but the guy tried to make it look like he supported him. But it's a whole story behind it. His kids are talented. Every one of his kids now, most of them are in the music. Ziggy Marley, is one of the best reggae singers out there. He's got probably like 15 kids, man. Jeez. Yeah, he had a lot of women. He loved life. He loved life, baby. I think he's married like 6 times. He's got like a ton of kids out there. So his name's gonna live forever.
That's for sure. Hey, Whispers, what do you got to recommend for the folks?
I saw Napoleon, which had terrible reviews, but it's actually really good. It's well done. I mean,
It's
you have
good. It's
Joaquin
good.
Phoenix, yeah, and it really shows a lot of what he was about. And the only thing they dwelled on some of the love story stuff too much, and I think they should have done a little bit more with the March to Moscow and back because of what a disaster that was. One of the greatest military disasters ever. I mean, even worse than what finished them off was Waterloo, but. Yeah, the March on Moscow to lose, basically 500,000 men at that period of time is just unbelievable. Mostly from
And he
freezing to death and starvation.
well, he was considered a really good tactician, like one of the best ever. As
Oh
far
yeah,
as when it comes to war and strategy. And when he went marching to Russia, and they told him not to do it. His ego got in the way of everything. Of all the decisions that cost him, his ego got in the way.
always. Yeah, at Waterloo especially. Let's go ahead anyhow, even though I know I'm going to lose.
Yeah,
It was,
yeah. So that's the only bad thing about it. But you're right though, Tim. They spent too much time on the love affair, and I wish they would have spent more time on the war aspect and what made him who he was.
yeah, that's what people remember when you talk about. And they should have dwelled a little bit on his little man complex because, someone
Yeah,
says
because he was a little. Yeah,
yeah,
he was tiny.
yeah, because when people talk about the Napoleon complex, we all know what that's about.
Yeah, he
Hey,
was a little man.
before we get out of here, we want to send our heartfelt condolences to the family and friends of Richard Lewis. Passed away last week at the age of 76. Whispers, I don't know about you. I watched the latest episode of Curb, and obviously watching it, following the news of his death, it just took on a whole different vibe. And you kind of looked at his face, and you're like, man, he didn't look healthy at all. I mean, there's also things that you don't really think about when somebody's with us. But after his passing, obviously they had taped the season a long time ago. He didn't look healthy at all in that scene
No,
that with Larry David when they were having lunch together.
no, and he hasn't looked well for a few years, quite frankly. But yeah,
No,
he was looking
yeah,
really
yeah.
bad. Yeah, and
He
his
was looking
age kind
really
of
bad.
surprised you, didn't it? I mean,
Yeah,
seems like he was in his 80s, but he was not.
right. Yeah, I mean, he obviously had a lot of plastic surgery done on his face, so his face was so tight. None of the facial muscles even move. But I mean, he's still funny as hell. Some of the scenes with him and Larry. I mean,
Oh
even
yeah,
at both their
hilarious.
advanced stages, they're still
Yeah,
classic.
they're so miserable.
Did you see the episode on Sunday, Tim?
No, I haven't seen it yet. But
Funny as hell. The best one of the season.
oh yeah,
Really, really
I'll
good.
Man,
see it.
and for all my UFC fight fans, it's the best card that we've seen in a long time, baby. I'm telling you know it's a good card when they got Curtis Blades on the prelim.
He's on the
Yeah.
prelim.
You know,
Wow.
yeah, he's on the prelim. So here's the card this week: Shawn O'Malley,
Yeah,
who's the
it's the best
bantamweight
one.
title bout. Yeah, that's the best one. That's the
Yeah.
headliner versus Marlon Vera, Chito Vera. That's going to be a good one. Dustin Poirier is fighting on that card. It's going to be a good one. Kevin Holland, you know who Kevin Holland is, right?
hmm
He's fighting Michael Venom Page, who just joined the UFC. He's been in like all these other places, and he's like this super welterweight guy. And they've been trying to get him to the UFC for years, but he decided, I don't want to go there. I'm making more money doing independent. But they finally got him to the UFC, so it'll be his first fight against Kevin Holland. You got Gilbert Burns is fighting in there. You got Peter Yan is fighting. The prelims. Here's the prelims, America. You got Curtis Blades versus Yalden Alameda. Curtis Blades in the prelim. You got Caitlin Samaria versus Macy Barber. That's a good one. Early prelims. Oh, here's early prelims. You got, remember that kid, Michael Pereira, the guy from Brazil that does all the dancing, the
hmm
Brazilian dance. They got him on the early prelims. He's been on the main card. They got it. This card's so big. They got him on the bottom of the card. They come on at 3 o'clock when there's only 8 people in the arena. I feel
It's
bad for him, but he can fight though. But it's gonna be a good card. I'm looking forward to it, and we'll be talking about it on the next. Give me the hot sauce, baby.
So check that out this weekend. The Academy Awards are on Sunday. Check that out as well. The Bulls, 3 more games coming up. They play the Jazz Wednesday night in Salt Lake City, the Warriors in San Francisco on Thursday, and then a Saturday afternoon game against the LA Clippers. So nothing easy coming up.
I wonder if Lowry's going to play. He didn't play the other night. He set out. I wonder if he's going to play against the Bulls. You know, those guys who always
play.
Yeah, they always want to play against the Bulls. So hopefully we'll get our second win. Even though the Jazz play really good at home, I think Jordan Clarkson had like 40-something last night. So that's going to be a tough game for us. I hope we don't come out looking at the record and looking at, this is a team that's like fighting to get into the playoffs, and we come in and take care of business, because this is a win we got to have too. This is the win. Right. You stole a win in Sacramento. No one thought you were going to win. Now this is the win everybody thinks you should win. Now you got to win that one. And then Golden State is, they're reeling right now. It's getting beat by like 50 against Boston, but they were 3-1 on that trip, so they're still deadly. And then you got the Clippers, who were up 15 against the Bucks and lost without Giannis there.
Yeah, that was a bad loss. They kind of collapsed down the stretch in that game.
Yeah, they were up 15 in complete control of the game on the road. They were playing in Milwaukee. I thought they were in LA, but they were in Milwaukee, and they were up 15, and then they just imploded. And they ended up winning. Damian Lillard had 41, and looked like the Damian Lillard of Portland. Yeah, and that if you're looking at that, you could say two things. Oh well, he finally felt comfortable. It was, Giannis wasn't there. You got to take all the shots. But man, if you sit there thinking like, wow, okay, he did this without Giannis, like maybe, I don't know, maybe we might have to rethink things now. You never know. You never know.
Well, the other thing, not only did he have to make the adjustment to a new city after spending all his career in Portland, but it came out over All-Star Weekend that he had been going through a divorce. So that's going to do a number on anybody's head. So I think that he's finally settled in, and now he's playing like you mentioned, like the old Damian Lillard.
Well, and I said that when we played them the other night, is that I expect him when the games are on the line in the playoff series, he's going to step up and play. You're not going to be able to replace Drew Holiday, what Drew Holiday meant to that team, but he can give you offense. And the key with them, I think, is Chris Middleton. What is his status? Is he going to play? Is he going to be healthy enough to play? Because I honestly feel, Mark, and I said this today. I was on a show today on Sirius Radio. Philadelphia, if they get Embiid back, okay. Boston, even though Boston has played well and they're the hottest team right now, they don't scare me. They're not a team like, oh my God, I'm so afraid of them. If Embiid comes back anywhere near healthy, and with the pieces they've added since he's been out, you add Kyle Lowry, a true point guard that can make 3-point shots. They can run your team for you. You can move Maxey to the 2 guard and let him attack. And now you got that dynamic. You got Buddy Hield, who's a great 3-point shooter that's going to keep the floor space. And now you throw and plug Embiid back in there. That team is going to be scary, depending on the health of Embiid. And I honestly feel like they could go into a Boston series and beat Boston, because I don't believe Porzingis is going to be able to defend Embiid if Embiid is on the floor. I just don't. Porzingis doesn't scare me, and I don't think Jaylen Brown's going to shoot the way he's going to shoot. And keep an eye on this team, Mark. Jimmy Butler and the Miami Heat.
Yeah,
they just picked up Patty Mills. It doesn't sound like a very important pickup, but Patty Mills can make shots. Patty Mills can shoot threes. He can play point for you. He's a solid veteran, knows how to play. He's been in the championship games. Jimmy Butler now is starting to play more consistently now as the season goes along. It's almost like he takes a break in the first half of the season to like he's just kind of wading through, pedestrian numbers. And then that after All-Star break, he seems like he turns it on and he's ready to play, and he plays with a chip on his shoulder. So I'd be watching out for that team. That's the team I'd watch out for.
So you heard it from the man himself. If you want to bet some teams with a little bit longer odds, look at Philadelphia and Miami as the playoffs get rolling in mid-April. Stacey, safe travels the rest of the week. Hope you don't have any bumpy landings the rest of the way, and look forward to seeing you in Chicago next week.
Keep your seatbelt on.
I'm looking forward to. I might be planes, trains, and automobiles next time, babe. I might be riding the Greyhound bus back, babe. We have another landing like we did last night.
You got one more read in you, Stacey? Windy City Limousine. People are looking for transportation.
Let me get well, baby. Oh, Windy City, baby. Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. There we go. Oh, here we go. Windy City, baby. Y'all ready? Windy City Limousine provides championship service. Making a reservation is so easy, it's a slam dunk. Let Windy City break the full court pressure of traffic to get you to your destination in style and on time. Contact Wendy at 847-916-9300. That's 847-916-9300 or visit WindyCityLimousine.com.
That's right. St. Patrick's Day coming up. So make sure you get that good transportation. You'll have to drive your own car into the madness that is the city of Chicago on St. Patrick's Day weekend. All right, that's going to do it. I want to thank D for holding down the fort all by himself. Other guy, Cisco, is out doing some duty at the Paul. So D doing yeoman effort to take care of everything, making sure that the show runs smoothly. As we get out of here, Stacey, you got some advice for the folks?
Drive home safe in Chicago. Beep, beep.